So welcome to our third day of our Young Innovators Week Brazil 2022. For the speakers that are coming today, a little introduction. It's an initiative of the Companion Research in Germany, and we are organizing it here in Brazil. It's the very first initiative of this kind of the DWIH network worldwide. The second one will be in India in August. And the goal is to bring young entrepreneurs from academy in Germany abroad in order to know other ecosystems, innovation ecosystems, to plan or to plan to have these countries in their internationalization plans. So we had on Monday a presentation about the Brazilian economy, Brazilian educational and scientific system, and the relationships between Brazil and Germany. And we was at the AHK, the German-Brazilian Chamber, have presentations of companies explaining how they work with open innovation, what they do in Brazil, how big they are, and so on. And yesterday we had presentations about the innovation ecosystems in Brazil, in São Paulo, and presentations of Embrapa, Embrapi, Senai, Fiocruz, who I'm forgetting. So Innova Unicamp, Cietec, AUSPIN, and so on. So, and we visit IPT yesterday. Today is more relaxing, I will say. We want to present these young innovators, 8 from Germany, 8 from USP, but among the German ones, 3 of them are not German, so it's a Brazilian, a Gaúcho, 1 is from America, and 1 from India. So, and yes, and today we want to present them. So 2 initiatives in them, the DWIH is involved. So the Falling Walls Lab, this is a contest for young talents with transformative ideas. And the second one is the Startups Connected program, an initiative of the German Chamber. So, and Fernando is here. I don't see him. Oh, there. He will explain this contest is a program, is more than a contest. So it's for startups, that are already running and working with companies. And after that, we will have another block of presentations with testimonials from Startups Connected. From Falling Walls, we have 2 testimonials here. So André Brandão and Khouri, they will explain, present, speak about their experience as winners. And we will have for Startups Connected the same. So companies representatives like Gustavo from Bahia in Brazil. We will have Priscila from German Hospital Oswaldo Cruz, and 3 representatives from startups that were winners in this contest and participated in the accelerator program of the German Chamber. One of them from Germany and will participate online. So that's enough. So I will start presenting our Falling Walls Lab. Okay, so I will present then the Falling Walls Lab. So the initiator of this, I'm starting now, Matheus. So the initiator is the Falling Walls Foundation in Berlin. The name Falling Walls comes from the fall of the wall, the wall from Berlin. And the question is, what are the next walls that we need or that we will break? Okay. So a competition of pitches with innovative ideas and strong social impact for young researchers and entrepreneurs. Worldwide, we have 70 labs, qualification labs to the final in Berlin. So you have a pitch of only 3 minutes. So I think that is a very interesting contest for you, both for the Brazilian ones that can candidate or apply in our Falling Walls Lab, but there are others in Germany. So you are in Germany, you can apply in Germany as well. Okay. Here we have the winners from last year. So George Khouri is here. That was very, how I say, geprägt, also marcado by the pandemic. All of the 3 winners are from the health area, have research in the health area. Okay, only the last one with the audience award has a sustainable solution is in the other way. You can see in our page on YouTube all the event last year. So last year, the last 2 years, it was online. This is the partners for this year. We will have this year. We will not be online in Brazil. We will do our qualification lab in Porto Alegre at Tecnopuc. In the last one, we had many winners from Rio Grande do Sul. So we will start the registration next week after this Innovators Week. We will select in the beginning of August 15 finalists to the lab in Brazil, in Porto Alegre. We can support that ones that are not from Rio Grande do Sul, give some money to come to Porto Alegre. No. Yes, and it will be on 8th of September. Okay. You will have a pitch training that will be offered by Tecnopuc online. In the last 2 years, Vanessa, that was yesterday with us, she offered this pitch training. So the contest is in English. The candidates must be enrolled in a university or research institution or have completed their last degree within, shortly, not so have a recent degree. So yes, this is not that important. So you have only 3 slides for your presentation and 3 minutes. So in Berlin, and now you have only 3 minutes to present. They will not have more questions from the jury. That exists no more. But in Brazil, we will have 3 minutes for the presentation, and I think 1 minute for questions of the jury in our qualification lab. So here is George. George will talk about his experience, what he has won. So a trophy and certificate, a trip to Berlin to participate at the final Falling Walls Lab, participated in the grand finale and in other activities like brain dates and the Falling Walls Science Summit, and he was lucky because last year he had from Aeroaccess a prize to visit other research institution in Europe, and he went to Sweden. But this year Aeroaccess will offer only a pitch training for the global final. They don't have this year the money for the trip in Europe. And as winner of the lab, he can apply to participate at the DAD Innovation Week in Berlin. That this year will be in present in Germany. This not as I wanted. So, and we have also an audience award. The winner receive a trophy and certificate, and we offer the DAD Entrepreneurship Prize as well. Among the candidates of the Fallen Walls Lab in Brazil, we choose one that has profile to be an entrepreneur, but this candidate cannot have already started his or her startup. And maybe from this side. So, and the last, so our two last, the name, Caroline from Porto Alegre was the third place at Fallen Walls Lab, but awarded the DAD Entrepreneurship Prize, participated online in the DAD Innovation Week, and won the pitch competition of this other of the Innovation Week. George won last year the Audience Award by the pitch competition at the Innovation Week. So here, George last year. In the final in Berlin, you are up to 100 finalists, okay? And you are, so the Fallen Walls Foundation organized a broader, currently a broader contest named Breakthroughs of the Year with many categories. In one of them is the category for the Fallen Walls Labs, and now it's named Emerging Talents. So many times I have. Okay, thank you. So after the lab in September, we will organize the trip. So if you apply to the Fallen Walls Lab, please block the week, the first 10 days or the first 2 weeks in November. Because if you will elect that, we can be very busy these days in Berlin. Okay? Yes, I have already told you that we will not have questions by the jury in Berlin. This was the winner from last year from South Africa. And the winner in Berlin award Breakthrough of the Year. So the title of Breakthrough of the Year in the Emerging Talents category receive a cash prize and will present the research in the Science Summit, in the conference with renowned experts, decision makers, and scientists. About the Innovation Week. So we have then, it's an initiative by the AD in partnership with TU9. It's the Alliance of 9 Technical Universities in Germany. All the winners from the AD Entrepreneurship Prize are automatically classified for the Innovation Week. And the finalists, the winners from the Fallen Walls Lab, can apply for a place in this workshop, okay? And it's a workshop on innovation and entrepreneurship with pitch contest at the end. No. Yes, I want to come here. So, and this is what is new. So for you from USP, I wanted to emphasize the DAD offer a position, a place in the DAD Innovation Week for you. So we will select, not we, TO9, will select one of you that are from USP here today to participate in the Innovation Week in Berlin, in Germany as well. Can be one of the 3 universities that are co-organizing. Okay, we will send them information about you, and they will decide who of you will be invited to participate. Yes, and here's the last slide, I think. Unfortunately, Almas that was invited to present here the Fallen Walls venture will not come. Here is a problem with his trip, with her trip, with her car to come to São Paulo. But I have prepared this slide. This is other category in the Fallen Walls, from the Fallen Walls Foundation. It's for startups that are already running, who have successfully turned science into business, and the startups need to be nominated by academic institution, by its academic institution. 25 of them will be invited to Berlin to present themselves, have more than 3 minutes, I can say. And there is a very incredible jury of international experts, investors, and corporate innovation leaders that will evaluate, and is a very good opportunity for networking as well. And the winner will present the startup and the Science Summit. And yes, but the deadline is already 21st May. And this is a category also for German, for Brazilian startups, and so on worldwide, okay? And Almas was the first one, unique until now, that represented a Brazilian startup, Zika Lab, from the Unicamp in Berlin. That was, thank you very much. So, now I want to invite then André Brandão. André was winner at our Fallen Walls Lab Brazil 2015, you said? We have 2016 in our program. He will talk about more than 3 minutes to break a wall by means of games. André is it's a friend of us. He is professor at the University, Federal University ABC, in the region of São Bernardo do Campo and Santo André. It's an industrial region. For you from Germany, maybe we can compare to the Ruhr region, okay? Very industrial, but it's changing in academic, in other, because the industrial doesn't play the same role as some decades ago. And the alumnus and winner from Fallen Walls. Please, André.
Good morning, everybody. So I have some things to share with you today. And first of all is that the Fallen Walls Lab is a kind of competition, but I don't do things to compete. I do things to make the world a little better. So with this talk, which Marcio, thank you for inviting me to share with you this this experience that I had. I want to encourage you to participate in the Fallen Walls Lab. So the Fallen Walls Lab, for me, it was an opportunity to share with other people the things that I was doing. So I thought and I think that it was something interesting to the world. It was, of course, the world. I don't mean all the world, all the people from the world, but if I can touch one person, I'm changing the world for that person. So that was about my experience. So I think if all of you are here, it's because you think you're doing something different for the world. And because of that, I want to encourage you to participate in the Falling Walls Lab. So what I did, it starts when I was a computer science undergraduate student, and my mother, she's a speech therapist, and she was used to work with children with cognitive disabilities. And during my undergraduate studies, she was always encouraging me to do something for people with disabilities. And then years after that, I became a graduate student, a PhD candidate, and then I had my opportunity, my lifetime opportunity, to develop a game for children with Down syndrome. And I had the participation of my mother and my sister, and the two of them are speech therapists. Then it was at that time the first game developed for children with Down syndrome in preschool age. It was a game for children between 3 and 7 years old. It is an experience that is an introduction for people with disabilities, for children with disabilities, to work with digital devices. So that was something really new at that time, and I'm talking about 2009. Then that was the first game, as I know, of the world for people with for children with Down syndrome in preschool age. Then it was a call from the culture secretary of the Rio de Janeiro state, where I did my PhD studies. And then I had the opportunity to go to Germany, and so I was I had a DAD scholarship, and I lived for 6 months in Kaiserslautern, Germany, where I studied and did research at the German Research Center for Artificial Intelligence. And after that, I came back to Brazil, and then I was able to develop the second game for children with Down syndrome in preschool age. So this, for me, it was a surprise, because from the launch of the first game until the development of the second game, there was 3 years, and during that 3 years, it was only the second game. So people, they really need, with disabilities, they really need technologies to include them in a digital world and in the society. So that was my motivation. Years after that, I became a university professor, and I continued to develop games for different profiles of people. So elderly people, wheelchair users, and so on. Then, because I had my experience with developing games for children with Down syndrome, and because I had this identification with Germany, because I lived in Germany for 6 months, then I saw that was participating in the Falling Walls Lab. It was an opportunity to share with other people the things that I was doing. I participated. It is really hard to put your life project in 3 minutes. It is really hard. And it is harder than that is to enjoy the moment. You get really nervous to speak in 3 minutes your life project, but I was able to present. It was in Portuguese, so I was comfortable to speak, and then I presented my project. I was the first place in 2015, and then I went to Germany, 3 days in Berlin. In the very first day, it was with the 100 participators, and from people of all over the world. And we were able to get in contact digitally before the event with the Falling Walls Lab Berlin. And then we were able to schedule some conversations in the second day. So the first day, everybody was really nervous, and it took all the day long to make 100 presentations. And then after that, we had a party, and at that moment, we were comfortable to get in touch and then share experiences, sharing the business cards. And then the second day was the Falling Walls Lab conference. And because we had this previous contact, we managed to make some short conversations between one presentation and the other in the Falling Walls Lab conference, which was the second day. And in the third day, I was invited to participate in a very selected, event from the Falling Walls. It was the Falling Walls Circle. And that was overwhelming. It was amazing to participate. There was 2 people that won Nobel Prizes, and I think that will never happen again in my life, that I was able to share experience with Nobel Prizes. So, again, don't face the Falling Walls Lab as a competition. It is a kind of competition, but more than that, it is an opportunity to share to the world what you're doing. And I still have contact with people who participated in the Falling Walls Lab 2015. There are online events, meetings from Falling Walls Lab alumni, and I still participate, and this is so great to be part of this story. So, again, I encourage you to apply for the Falling Walls Lab and show to the world the things that you're doing. Thank you very much. That was my experience.
Thank you very much, André. So we have now the testimonial of Jorge Jamil Khouri, that he was the winner from last year, and he went to Berlin to represent Brazil. Also Jorge is finishing his master's degree on biotechnology. He researches a multiplex rapid test for neglected diseases such as malaria, leishmaniasis, dengue, and yellow fever. And that is really what is important in this contest, Falling Walls, intending to help people in less developed regions and countries. So if it's an innovative idea, a proposal of innovation, but with the social impact. That is very important on this contest. Jos, please.
Oh, hello, everybody. First of all, I get very nervous in this kind of presentations. I don't know about you, by a show of hands, does anybody here get nervous in presentations. A few of you. So if I forget half of my presentation, I'm sorry. Well, I'm here to tell you about the most terrifying and surprisingly the best day of my life. That was my Falling Walls Berlin presentation. It all started in 2014 when I was in my bachelor's degree. I started developing, writing a project about a rapid multiplex diagnostic test. It was in São Carlos, a city in interior of the state of São Paulo. After a few years, in 2021, I received an email, a newsletter. I have no idea where it came from, but it was telling me about Falling Walls lab presentation and something called the DWIH. In that time, I didn't know what it was about, so I ignored it. Well, a few days have passed, and I kept thinking about that opportunity, and why wasn't I trying to put my project, why wasn't I trying to participate? Why hasn't I applied? And then it hit me that it was because I was scared. The problem was fear. And the next day I woke up, I left my fear behind, and I applied. A few weeks later, I received an email telling that I was one of the Brazilian finalists, and I had to pitch it. And instead of calming me down, this made my anxiety rise up, and I started getting nervous because it hit me that it was starting to become something real, something tangible. So Inova Unicamp made a thing that was a pitch training, and they prepared us. And in the end of the finalist presentation, I won. And I was like, holy, I won. And it was the happiest moment and the craziest moment because at the same time that I've won here, I would have to present it in Berlin. So my anxiety went up as much as the first time. And when I got to Berlin, I met people from all around the world. I met people from a range of area of knowledge. I met people who worked with artificial intelligence. I met people who worked with architecture. I met scientists. I met Nobel Prize winners, Nobel Prize jury. And it was the best place to make networking that I've been in my entire life. It was something way huge, way bigger than I ever thought that I would be into. So I panicked. I simply panicked. And in the last 2 months, I was rehearsing, I was training my pitch, I was memorizing it. I knew it by heart. There was no way I could forget that pitch. It was only 3 minutes. But when I went up the stage and I looked at the first row, there were Nobel Prize winners. There were Miss Sarah Springman, which was the rector at ETH Zurich, and I forgot everything. My mind simply went blank. And if you watch my presentation, I just go up on the stage. I started talking, something memorized like a robot, and then when I look at them, I simply stop, and all you can hear is my breathing. Like, I was desperate, and I don't know, probably some small people that live in my brain resetted everything, and then I started talking. And then I realized that it was my project, it was my life project, it was something that I and only I knew about. Why was I scared of telling them about it? And right after the presentation, there was a meet and greet in the court. And Miss Springman came to me, and she asked me, do you drink? Right? Yeah. She grabbed me a beer, she gave me a beer, and I was like, what? The same woman that I froze, I blanked because I saw her, because she's like a hero in science. The same woman gave me a beer, and she's trying to talk to me as one of us? Okay. And then she asked me, what are you thinking about this summit? And I told her, well, it's very nice. It's the best place to make network. It's the best place to meet people. I've met people from all over the world. I'm having, till today, video calls with some friends that I made, some partners from South Africa, from England. And I told her that, and I told her that when I saw her during my presentation, I simply blanked. And she looked at me and she told me one of the best things that I've ever heard from someone in my life. She actually looked at me and said, we are like you. You think that we are someone superior. You think that we are like gods. We aren't. We love like you. We have regrets. We use the bathroom just as you do. We drink, we party. We have the same lives. The only difference between you and me is that I'm older, and therefore I have more experience. It was short. It was a short speech, but it was a speech that changed my life. I started realizing that we can be these persons one day. We can be there. We can be Nobel Prize winners. We can be someone that people look up to and imagine a whole new world, a whole new stuff. Like, there are some people that we look up to, and we can be these persons one day. And what I want from you today is to know that fear is something that can hold you back, can make you give up, can make you stop doing your stuff. And you have to break it. You have to pass through it. It's like if someone, when you're younger, says that a dog is something to be afraid of, you're going to be afraid of it unless you give it a chance. And this dog can show itself your best friend. So when an opportunity like this shows up, don't fear it. Embrace it. It's an opportunity, and it can show you, like showed me, a whole new world of possibilities. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, George and Andrea. I want to invite you to sit here in the front and for the question and answer session. So we started delayed. So we changed the program because Almas will not come. So we have 10 minutes of her slot here. And I think it's better that we answer now the questions about falling walls, and then we will talk about startups connected. So we have some minutes, 5 to 10 minutes to answer questions about the falling walls. Who want to ask first?
Thanks. Hi, I'm Dana. I actually have a general question about the Falling Walls Foundation. Marcio, perhaps you can answer this one. So if I understood correct, the Falling Walls Lab is something just for, let's say, the Brazilian people here, right? It's not possible for German startups to apply.
No, there is labs in Germany as well.
Okay.
You can apply. There is worldwide.
Okay. And but it is necessary to already be in business, right? You have to be a founded startup, or is it not necessary?
For the Falling Walls venture, for the Falling Walls Lab, no. For the Falling Walls Lab, that is for young people that are studying or doing PhD or has already finished, but not for a long time. I saw in my slide, as of if you are not doing a master or a PhD, we should not have more than 10 years after your bachelor. So you are all candidates here, I think.
Okay, great. Thank you.
More a question to the both of you. What happened with your project? So after the Falling Walls Lab, after you won the prizes, what happened, how your project developed at the end?
So thank you for your question. So I'm still a university professor, so this opens so many doors, opportunities for me. So I still lead some projects to develop games for children, for elderly people, for wheelchair users, educational projects. So until now, for instance, one outcome from the Falling Walls Lab 2015 is that I'm still in contact with some of the participants, and with one of them, which was the Falling Walls Lab from Italy, was the winner, and we are developing an educational game for e-waste. Okay, so his project is about e-waste, but in the physical meaning, and we had a conversation at that time, and then we started to cooperate, and now this game is under development. So this is the resume of what were the outcomes from the Falling Walls Lab.
Well, my outcomes from it is that I've met a lot of entrepreneurs there. I met a lot of investment funds, and when I came back to Brazil, I made partnership with two people, one from England that wants to use my project in his device, so we're putting it all together, and another project I'm developing with another person that I met there from South Africa. We're trying to put another project together, and it opened a whole lot of opportunities here in Brazil. There are a lot of investment funds that are asking to meet me to know my projects, not only the project that I presented in Falling Walls, but also my other projects. And I'm finishing my master's, so things are a little bit crazy right now, but next month I'll probably get my master's degree, and I'm starting a startup to put it all together and make it happen.
Next. Rafael, I was expecting, I have a match here.
Yeah, I was seeing if anyone else would have a question, because mine is a simple. Yesterday we have a class about cultural differences and about the experience you two had in Germany. Did you have some difficulties? Because we as Brazilians may not know any Germany, we only know English, and this is what is this a problem for you, like George, or even the ABC professor? Sorry, I forgot your name. But the cultural problems, did you have any? The language problems, did you have any? I would like to know.
So thank you. My name is André, André Brandão. And, well, Germany is a developed country. And for most of the developed countries, most of the people, they speak English. So communication, it wasn't a problem at all. Not even when I was living in Germany, when I spent 6 months there. Of course, if you know the language, your integration in the society is much better. It's much better. I don't have words to explain that. But if you know English, you will be able to manage your conversations, your communication. All the Falling Walls Lab alumni events are in English, online and in face-to-face. So this is very good. So don't be shy to participate, because if you know English, you're able to communicate.
Yeah, I think I had the same experience. In my case, we were basically just going from the hotel to the summit, and everybody in the summit spoke English, and everybody at the hotel spoke English as well. So it was very easy to get together with people there. Berliners tend to speak English. I mean, when I needed to get the metro or train, I asked for information. Everybody that I asked for knew English, so it wasn't a problem at all. Also from people from the Falling Walls labs from other countries, people from India, people from KAUST, people from some places in Africa, they also spoke in English and they had no problem in communicating there.
Hello, my name is Lydia, and I know that tomorrow there will be a pitch training for the pitch that we are going to do, but I wanted to ask, like, for you two guys, how was the process of preparing yourself to put, like, all your research in 3 minutes, and do you have any advices, or how was for you?
Well, I have to highlight something that George has already told, that it doesn't matter how much you train. If you get in front of the people, you will get nervous, and then sometimes you're going to forget all your training. So that's why I didn't prepare any presentation, any slide presentations, because when I didn't share with you something that happened to me in 2015, that I was able to show 3 slides, but the slide changer didn't work. So I pressed 2 or 3 times, and then it started to show the presentation of the next presenter. And then I lost myself. So if I have some advice, don't train so much. You have to know what you want to share, and then talk. This would be my advice. Of course, you need a sense of time. So when I won in Brazil, there was a big clock that I was able to see. And I thought, okay, I have to talk about this until 1 minute and 30 seconds. If I manage to do that, I will enjoy the moment. And that was what I did. So, and then I was able to get emotional and then get happy during the moment. So this is the thing that I have to say.
Well, 3 minutes, it sounds like a less time than you need, but it's an eternity when you're up there. 3 minutes, it's a long, long time when you're up there and there are people waiting to hear you. My advice is know in your mind that you are the person that know the most about your project. Nobody there knows more than you about it. So you don't have to be scared. You don't have to fear it. You have to just be yourself and tell them what you know about it. And that's it, because nothing can prepare you to that. I mean, I was rehearsing it for 2 months, and then when I got up there, I simply forgot everything. So nothing can prepare you to that, unless that you think that you are the person that most know about your project. So go up there and kill it.
So thank you. So time is over, and we need to go ahead with the program. Thank you, André. Thank you, George. So you are invited to stay until lunch with us. So you will with us to BASF as well, no? So fine. So you have time to talk to them. So now the next part, we will present the Startups Connected program. Moment. I need to introduce you to Fernando now. That's the right. So Fernando Paraíso, he is the coordinator of innovation and sustainability at the German-Brazilian Chamber. There, he coordinates the Startups Connected program, lead the German-Brazilian Chamber corporate educational platform. the AHK Digital Academy, and other innovation projects in partnership with associated companies. Fernando, so the stage is yours. You present the Startups Connected, and then I will complement about the category of the DWIH.
Thank you, Marcio. Good morning, everyone. My name is Fernando. I work at the German-Brazilian Chamber. First, I would like to thank you, the DWIH São Paulo, for the opportunity. It's very nice to share with you our experience with open innovation and our Startups Connected initiative. Let me test this. Okay. So, to start, I think it's nice to introduce you about our experience. It's interesting because it's very complementary, the connection between startups and testing. Okay. It's very complementary, the connection between startups and established companies. We can see in this slide some connections between them. For example, when we look for the perspective of an established company, they have some challenges as the established companies are looking to get more originality in their products, get more agility and flexibility in their process. And this challenge can be solved with the assets of the startups. Startups are recognized to be original, fast, solve problems fast. And on the other hand, we can also look the startup challenge. Just let me right here. The startups challenge. Startups is looking to expand their networking. They are trying to get the recognition. They don't have a strong brand, and also they don't have financial resources. And that's the assets of established companies. There are others, but we can look how complementary is this relationship and how we can justify the connection. So we have a perfect match. It's easy, right? But not so easy. There are also some obstacles in this relationship, and that's why we created the Startups Connected to help these obstacles we can see here. For example, some startups share with us some companies have a lack of guidelines for working with startups. There are some requirements by the purchasing area or legal area of the companies that can stop some projects. And sometimes the time for decision is too slow for a startup. And also for our established companies, there are something that can stop the working with startups. For example, when we think the level of maturity of some solutions, it's not ready for a company that's not usually to work with startups. Sometimes the startup don't have yet a success case to show the company, and it's hard because companies avoid risk. So we, in our initiative, we have a structure to incentive this work, and working about the Startups Connected. It's a program, it's a contest, but also acceleration program. So if we're thinking our goals, we are looking to connect challenge to innovative solutions, companies challenge to start up with the solutions, and also co-create and accelerate innovative projects. The program is going to the 7th edition. We have already accelerated 55 startups and launching the 60 challenge. So it's a long story, and just explaining how it works. We have 6 main steps. We start with a setup with the established company. So we map and the challenge, and we launch a specific business challenge, and then we put this to the market. So startup can understand, can apply a solution, and after this, we go to the evaluation process. That's a key moment because we start to work the innovation culture. We can say it's a moment when the company involves some strategic representatives because we have to build the right squad work on the challenge with the startup. So with this, we find the best solution. There are a lot of ideas and solutions of startups, and in this moment we select the best solution, and then we start work in the acceleration process. And here is where we start to develop a pilot project. This is a key moment in our initiative because it's the time the challenge and solution find themselves, and we can help the startup to start a business with a company, start a partnership, and it's very, very interesting because we have a lot of phases. You will see in the event some startups that we have accelerated, and they are doing a great job. So in the end, we have a demo day, a demonstration day, to show to other people of the company how important was this project, and it helps to justify the investment to start up the partnership between startup and established company. So after this, we have an exit. It's like a strategic meeting to help this partnership goes on after the program, and that's it. It's a short bit about the structure. Just something important. The Startups Connected was recognized as by 100 Open Startups as third most important ecosystem in Brazil to incentive the connection. And we are very happy because it's a ranking that the startups put which actor was more important in the connection. So we are very happy with this prize. And I think here, just to finish, here is the winners of last edition. There we have some challenge, the companies which work with us, and here the startups. With the DWIH, we are working now to help High Lab, health tech, to go to Germany. We are working the search of strategic partners for them, and we are very excited because one of our missions is also show to Germany great innovations of Brazil, and also with German startups show that there is some opportunities here too. So we have this connection between the teams, and I think that's all. Thanks so much, Marcio. Thank you again for the opportunity, and that's it.
Thank you. Working?
No, I was right.
Fernando can give you a card, and we plan to send you all the presentations with all speakers along. So I will talk about it. You can sit here or there, and we will answer the questions after that.
Eu não estou escutando.
So I will talk about the category of the DWIH in the Startups Connected program. Some information are not mature for this year because we are talking and developing the rules and the time schedule for that as well. We are, in comparison to the early years, a little delayed. So we need to adjust some things. But, no, wrong side. This side. Okay. So our category, Startups Connected program works as Fernando presented, with startups that are already on the market and able to give solution for the challenges of the big companies. And we work in our other level. We work more with startups on the early stage, from academy or science-based, research-based, no? That can, and we are not a company with a challenge that the startup will develop a project with us. So our category is in this meaning very different to the others. But we want to help the startups to go international, to go abroad, from Germany to Brazil, or from Brazil to Germany, and put in contact with market players or researchers in order to develop the product or the service or the solution. Okay. Here are the winners from the last years. So we started 2017 and 2018. So in these both years, we had solutions from Agro 4.0. So one from Würzburg and the other one from TU Munich. And then we are awarded REDU from the University of Münster in the area of weather and pollution control with sensors and network. So Thomas will join us online in the next block and can talk you more about it. Then 2020, we awarded PiPredict from TU Darmstadt. It's a predictive maintenance of pipelines, gas, oil, water, and so on. But unfortunately, that was in the pandemic, and the founder of PiPredict has not come to Brazil, but we plan for the end this year. And last year, we awarded a high lab from Curitiba. I think it had a big match with you, George, because they develop a fast test as well, and they are already on the market. In the drug store in São Paulo, you can do COVID test from high lab, for example. And they are now going international. So they are really established on the market. They have 17 years already, I saw on the website. No? But it's very research-based. So for this year, our goal is to have as topic innovation for sustainability. So it can be everything so the innovation is sustainable itself, or it's an innovation that brings a sustainable solution to a problem, to a challenge in the environmental area or social area, and so on. So we look every year for very broad topics, so we have more chance to have a good startup, because it's not easy to convince startups in Germany to apply to Brazil. So it needs to be a startup, science-based, research-based, with young researchers and entrepreneurs in the team as founder, CEO, and so on. The priority is that they are spin-offs. It's not obligatory, but it's the goal. The priority is that they are spin-offs from research institutions. They should be in the early stage, They should not be only on the market and not researching anymore. So we prefer that the ones that are starting their business, okay? And the solution is linked to one of the more SDGs from United Nations, and yes, linked to the theme of the category, and interested in being active in the Brazilian and German market, and to be a bridge with, between science and innovation players. So, and what you win with this award? So you will participate in the accelerator program of the German Chamber. The German Chamber offer a market research about Brazil or about Germany in your area, and support to develop a pilot project, maybe if we find a partner for you to develop this project. And we help you with networking. So you will have a fact-finding mission in Brazil or in Germany. So we will look for you, and you can help us as well, nominating some interesting partners for you. And it can be companies, but can be research institutions or governmental offices, authorities, for example. So HiLab want to talk in Germany with authorities that are in charge of regulating the health area, for example. We are trying to have a meeting for them in this area. So, and you should have an office for one person at the DWIH, not at the AHK. We have visit on Monday the co-working place there. So thank you, Fernando. Isabella has done a very nice presentation. So, and normally we have, how is the name, the day, startup day, no, the pitch day, that all winners present themselves to companies and to potential partners, and you can be member of the AHK São Paulo. As I said, all of these prizes need to be confirmed. We have not finished our plan for this year, but I hope that we can offer the same prizes last year. And so the time schedule. So we want to start registration now in June, or probably in July. Fernando was told me that they are thinking about some changes in the time schedule for this year and the structure of the program. So maybe the application deadline will be for beginning of the August. Award ceremony normally is on the stage of the German Brazilian Innovations and Sustainability Congress this year at the end of September. And then start the accelerator program, a trip to Brazil or Germany. So to Brazil, normally it is for the award ceremony on the Congress, and then you stay 1 week in Brazil in your fact-finding mission. To Germany, it doesn't need to be on October. We have more time to prepare it. And that was my explanation about the category, and I can only stimulate you, motivate you to, stimulate you to apply for the category, for the German category, or from the DWIH, or for the others category if you are here from Brazil. If you are already running your startup here in Brazil and you feel that you are able to offer a solution to the companies, so I think it's a very good opportunity. So I will open now for questions as well. Who wants to start? Gisela, Pamela, it's not working.
everyone. So I have a question. It's about your program. You guys say give money to the startups or the ideas in exchange for equity, or is it a totally free program?
Thank you. We don't give money, but we have a financial resource to help the develop of the project. So how the companies participate with us, it's like a sponsor. We receive financial to structure the challenge, to financial some marketing activities, and part of the research is contemplated to help the develop of the solution. So that's why we work in a pilot project to have some result and then justify some more financial source of the company. That's the way.
Thank you so much. It's a really great way to say help the whole startup environment here in Brazil. We need that. Thank you.
Next. Whoa, 3. Latest first.
Thank you. Actually, it was kind of related to Gisela's question, but complementing a little bit. But I wanted to ask, what about intellectual property? How does it work?
That's an important point. It's something that we discuss during the program. For example, if it's developing between the company and the startup together, we have to discuss this. If it's something that the startup has already developed, in my vision, the IP it belongs to the startup. So it's very clear. So it depends about the relationship, but if it's more a research project or something more technical, we bring this discussion to be very clarified and also help with some contract, with NDA and other instruments to help with this.
Okay, thank you. It's not really a question because I just want to add something. That is the sustainability. Sustainability is not only related to the self-environment, the environment itself. It's related to the SDGs, as it says. So my project at Stream Brazil is related to SDG 10.2 on the equity. I can apply for them, for instance. And then she had a project too in this same social area. So everything that's related to the SDG can be applied. I just add up this because I talked to Victoria and she didn't know about this. She was like, it's like sustainability is the environmental thing, and it's not like that. You can, like, even Lydia's project that's about food can enter in the SDG about food. So everyone here can apply and just search. It's about you guys, and I think you have, like, with them a good opportunity.
Thanks so much. You told something very, very nice. Our department at the chamber was the innovation department, innovation technology department, and now we changed the name for innovation and sustainability department because we see the connection between innovation and sustainability. It's important when we think about innovation that we can have this for a long time, so it has to sustain itself and all itself. And also, when we think about sustainability, we are looking for the future, and innovation is also connected. So it's a very nice point, and it has very, very sense what you talk. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ivan. Here. Hi. And I'm trying to develop through University of Cologne a solution in the agriculture 4.0. So it's like involving a lot of genomics and like data analysis and that stuff. And my question is actually somehow for two questions, one for each. So the first one, is it possible to develop something like in this kind of partnership in the Startup Connected between the university, for instance, University of Cologne and a company like in this sense? And the second question is more for you, Marcio. And I would like to know, do you need to be settled in São Paulo if you develop something here in Brazil? Because I'm kind of like not really, kind of not to start here in São Paulo. Therefore, I think, yeah, that will be helpful to know. Thank you.
Thank you, Ivan. It depends about the challenge that we will have on the program. So, for example, we are trying with PipePredict to find some partners today develop a pilot project to test this, to see if there is a market fit, and then they exactly established in Brazil. So it's a pre-step to less risk for the startup, and also to test if it can be applied here. So it's possible, but we have to discuss with the company and also have a challenge open to it. Marcio, if you want to comment.
Ivan, so you can adapt your proposal for urban agriculture as well, roof agriculture. No, I'm kidding. As I told, the two first were also from the area of Agro 4.0, and they went, for example, to Bahia, to Rio Grande do Sul. They visit a farm in Bahia. They visit, one of them visit in Bahia, visit a fertilizer industry in Rio Grande do Sul, your state. They went to Embrapa Solos in Rio, to HAOC USP in Piracicaba, Embrapa Instrumentação in São Carlos, Campinas, one of them was in Campinas as well. So no, you can have meetings outside São Paulo. So far, the money is enough to finance the trip. Okay. Next question. No questions? Everybody wants to go for coffee? So then, okay, then Lydia.
Okay, it was just like a commentary. I don't know if it's a commentary or a question, but like you have this every year, right?
Yes.
Because like my undergrad research is totally unrelated to the project I'm bringing here today, but it's kind of related to sustainability. I'm an agriculture undergrad, so I think it has potential, but it's still very embryonic. We didn't even publish anything yet, but maybe like next year or in the following, later on, maybe we can develop something. So I was just wondering. Thank you.
Every year we have new challenge. So when you think it's the right time, please apply. It will be great for us.
So then I think we do our coffee break now. Thank you, Fernando, for coming. And we have time. Você fica até mais tarde? Okay. Okay, so he is here. You can talk to him. So the show must go on. I enjoy seeing that you are talking a lot, because this is one of the aims, of the goals of the meeting, to talk to each other, networking. So we will go ahead with our Young Innovators Week. And now we have the block with the panel with testimonials of the companies that are sponsors of the Startups Connected, and also from representatives from startups that won at least once in a category, and they will talk about experience working together with Brazilian big companies, and Redu from Germany will talk about its experience trying to come to Brazil, about difficulties and so on. I don't know how is the status in the moment of their work with cooperations with Brazil. Maybe we will put Thomas from Redu early in the program, a second, because of the time that we agreed with him, and so on. So we will start with Priscila Cruzatti from the German Hospital Oswaldo Cruz. She's the Innovation Digital Health Manager at the hospital, and she will talk about the experience of a company with a challenger in the Startups Connected program. Oh, that was the title that we give, not all of you.
So, hello. So, since we were pretty interested in the Fernando's presentation, I think this will be very helpful because I will present you, I will show you and talk a little bit more about the other side of the program, which is the company side. So how do we select the company, what we expect from this startup, how do we work together, and what happens after the program, all right? So beginning is just about the German Hospital Oswaldo Cruz. It's important to explain a few things about our hospital because our characteristics relates to the strategy that we chose to the program. We are a private hospital, one of the biggest in Brazil. We are a non-profit organization. We are philanthropic. And although we are called hospital, we are not only a hospital. We have 3 private hospitals in São Paulo. We have 2 public hospitals in Santos, which is 30 minutes away from São Paulo. And we also have other business units. We have an international international research center for clinical trials and longitudinal studies. We have the Digital Health and Innovation Center. We have a university. We have primary facility unit. So we are not only dealing with inpatient unit, all right? We are a centenary institution. We have 125 years, and we are big, and we help the governmental actions through the program called PROAGE. So we help the Ministry of Health in many areas, not with the patients actually. We help them to develop strategies, so strategic planning for the Ministry of Health and the secretaries. We help with the digital health strategy and things like this. So why does a hospital, a centenary hospital in Brazil, decided to open all these other business areas? Why do they have an innovation center? So through the past years, we have several revolutions that changed not only the way we produce it, but the way we live as a society, the way we give care, we evolve it, the caregiver, the technology for healthcare, and also the patients, how they deal with their health. The disease parameters, they changed a lot. So now we are in the 4th industrial revolution, and we have smart production, Internet of Things, big data, and this is all really affecting healthcare and also presenting new opportunities for us to provide a better health assistance. But it brings not only opportunities, but challenges. We have the Health 4.0. We feel we feel each time less patient. They are more active, they are a protagonist, they have a role in their self-care. But we also have the digital platform, but still have the analog process. We have the biological. So it's not a new thing, it's not substitute. We are adding new things, and we have to do with both at the same time. And this is challenging. Here at Hospital Alemão Oswaldo Cruz, or German Hospital Oswaldo Cruz, we launched an innovation digital health center 2 years ago. And it's outside the hospital, 10 minutes away, a walking distance. We have a whole floor. It's open for all our members, all of staffs, so physicians, receptionists, everybody can access not only the physical unit. We have a platform for entrepreneurship. We help them to develop solutions, and we develop solutions with our team as well and with others. So our mission is to add value for these new patients and for the new professionals, healthcare professionals that we have in the 21st century. How does we do that? We need to be aligned with their needs and expectations, all right? So we are always problem-based and value-based. We are not trying to fit a solution to anything. We are trying to approach a problem. Here, what we do, innovation is a very broad area, and innovation in healthcare is as broad as well. So we establish a periodic table of innovation, which is the topics that we address in our innovation center, all right? So this we'll have access later because they already said they will share the presentation, and it's important for you to see this if you want to apply any project for the hospital, because you can see if it fits our strategy or not. It will help you a lot to design solutions and to see if we are the best partner or not. So first step, look at this. Here we have, at the same time, our thesis, but also our portfolio. So you can see the logo typos over there. That are some of the companies and some of the areas that we have projects with. That's not all. You can see there is a lot of blank spaces because we have some secret projects that we are not showing in the portfolio, but here you can have an idea of our kind of partners that we have and kind of projects. How do we do that? We have 4 laboratories, and we have a process for innovation. We use methodology. We are always approaching by design thinking, as I mentioned before, problem focus. And we have a team, which is our main resource. Our team, I'm a nurse, but I have game developers. I have a very different team. And I also work with all the hospital staff who work in squads for each project and with partners. And we also have a 5th laboratory, which is our hospital. So we can test and we can pilot things over there. So it's kind of a 5th laboratory. Oh, this is hard to see, but with who we do that? We have an incubator for our staff. So it's not open for the general public and not for startups. It's for our staff. They can create startups inside of our organization. We have this incubator. We work in co-creation with big companies and major startups. So if a startup wants to approach us and work together, it can be in an idea level. Just the idea, it's not enough. With our staff, we can work with ideas, but with startups or big companies, no, all right? We can co-create and we can work as a service as well because we have some structures for release, for rental, and things like that. And we work with specific problems, challenges, and ecosystems relationship strategy, which is the Startups Connected case. So we worked with Startups Connected for 3 years. The first year we selected Laura, after that Digital, and now Mind5. I don't know if you noticed in Fernando's PowerPoint, but they had this saúde digital and experiência do paciente, so digital health and the patient experience. That was our challenge. And here is some good practice that I want to share with you that the Startups Connected help us a lot. That is what happens. Before the program starts with the hospital, not with the startup, all right? So from our side, before we work with the startup, we work with the AHK in a workshop to identify a relevant challenge that needs to be important to our business, that we need to identify a problem to define and to be very specific. We align the maturity level, so Hospital Oswaldo Cruz, we work with mature startups. We don't work with ideas, but some companies do. And we then analyze the proposals and we interview the startups, inviting the stakeholders. It's not only the innovation staff, all right? The business areas that will benefit of the project, they are enrolled on this. Then we perform a pilot. We run a pilot, which is focused. It's a proof of concept. It's not an implementation of the full operation. And in order to prove concept, we need to have KPIs, we need agreements, we need to understand, to delimitate what's happening. And we have the full support of AHK and the consultants firm in a workshop to work with all the stakeholders at the same time. So the Innovation Center, the physicians, IT team, quality team, the startup, and the AHK itself. So that's very important. And wrapping up, preparation and planning, not only before, but during the program, it's key. The commitment and engagement, so you need to be aware of that, as well as we need to be aware of that, all right? And the AHK support, it's very important. I understand, and probably startups will talk about this later, but for us was really, really helpful. And here, if you want to keep in touch. Thank you.
Obrigado, Priscila. A gente faz as perguntas depois numa rodada com todo mundo junto. Tá bom? Obrigado. O Thomas, ele... sorry, English. Switch to English. So, Thomas will share us first on 11:25. So I want to invite Gustavo to speak before him. So Gustavo, I don't have the paper now. So Gustavo is, you can present yourself probably, it's better.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here today. I'd like to thank AHK for the invitation and the opportunity to represent BEAR, to talk a little bit about the Startups Connected program, which came to bring us to interesting opportunities when it comes to help us solve, thank you so much, help us solve a couple of the challenges that we have as the company that we are. I just want to say that I'm very happy to be here this morning. To me, it feels almost as if I'm already receiving so much more that I feel that I can give with the amazing talks that we heard this morning with André and with Georgie and everything else that's being created today. So hopefully these connections will be also fruitful to everybody here. This is my mouse, so that's why people are having so much trouble to pass the slides, because it's sort of like, it's probably having a jam here at some point, so apologies for that. But maybe I should start by telling you what connects us with the program as a company. And to me, that really resonates with our purpose and our mission. So today, and maybe a very brief introduction, as Marcio mentioned, my name is Gustavo Belchior, I go by Gus, and I am the Executive Manager for Innovation and Digital Solutions at BEAR in Brazil, so for the BEAR Group, representing the 3 divisions. I've been in this role particularly for almost 3 months now, so I'm learning a lot in this past 2.5 months or so, give or take. So it's really a pleasure to be here again, learning even more. So as I mentioned, to me, it is quite important for us to understand how our mission connects with the program. So let's start by doing that. So we have a very clear mission statement, which is science for a better life. So we are a life sciences company, and we want to improve the lives of people in the world, and we organize that through our focus areas, which are nutrition or food, and also health. So the vision that we want to create is health for all and hunger for none. So those are big, big drivers for everything that we do. And the three divisions that we have, which are crop science, pharmaceuticals, and consumer health, are simply ways to work it in a more organized fashion. You can imagine how complex a company with 100,000 employees can be, so we need to be organized to do things properly. We have our life values and the ways that we operate that also is quite important to help guide ourselves in our interactions. So next year, BEAR will be, when I say BEAR, I'm not talking about the animal, I'm talking about the company, so Bayer, for those who are more accustomed to that. So BEAR next year will be 160 years, and aspirin, for instance, will be 125 years in 2023. So you can imagine how long we have been talking about innovation and doing things differently and finding ways to improve the world. And you can find that in, obviously, our web pages. You can see the QR code. Hopefully, you're able to scan that. But if not, then you'll be able to have the presentation. However, we understand there are new ways of doing innovation. So one example is our LEAPS initiative or effort, which looks into doing things quite disruptively, considering the bio-revolution. So how we are connecting biosciences, life sciences, digital, the human side of things. So I encourage you to afterwards take a look at LEAPS. If you want, just type in Google, LEAPS by BEAR, and then you'll be able to find the website and see all the great things that that team is doing. As I said, innovation in BEAR has many different colors. And onto how that's happening here in Brazil, at least, at Life Hub São Paulo. So as Innovation and Digital Solution Executive Manager, I am responsible for Life Hub São Paulo. And what is that? So Life Hub is a concept that BEAR created a couple of years ago. It's a global concept that attempts to encompass everything that we need to do to innovate using concepts of open innovation and the digital solutions that can help us do that better. In Brazil, we have Life Hub São Paulo, which is the 8th Life Hub in the globe, the first one in Latin America, and the only one that connects with the 3 divisions. So in other parts of the world, the connections are more related to one or the other division that we have, or a particular topic in open innovation. So here we are, as Brazilians, very broad and trying to tackle many different challenges through the Life Hub, which one day I hope everybody gets to go there and see the amazing space that we have. So what was the challenge in the context of, of Startups Connected? So it was really more towards how we can improve the connection of people to health and how they can connect to finding ways to get to a health state, if you will. Particularly in the example that I'm bringing, we're talking about healthcare as self-care. So in our consumer health division, how we operate is to connect the patient or someone with over-the-counter products. So those that do not need prescription. So we're not talking about medicines that you need to go specifically to a doctor to get a prescription. It's how you can, by yourself and with information, with the best possible available, help you have healthier state if you're in that situation. And that's where the program gets in. So it has a longer history. So Fernando was here telling you about the program, so I'm not going to spend our time doing that. I'm just going to tell you that this was a very interesting space, and my last slide captures the 3 main topics that I want to bring as an experience to really help go from a challenge, so how can we help people self-care better, with a startup that had the opportunity and was at the right stage to do so. And this was a very fruitful and interesting interaction. So the connection here, and this might be a bit dark for you, but was with BioAPS or BioApps, which is a company that wants to help people through people. So how can they, using digital tools, connect someone who wants to have a healthier state with professionals that can, with a humanized approach, 24/7, using digital, using accessibility, help them do that. So it was an interesting endeavor with the two pieces coming together to try to solve this health issue beyond the medicine, so beyond the prescription. How can we humanize that and improve access? So if you scan that QR code, and that one I hope that you are able to do, that will lead you to a WhatsApp automatically. That is the chatbot that helps someone who wants to understand more about self-care through one of our products. So for instance, if you are at a drugstore and you have a question about a particular product, you can go into that chatbot and start asking questions. This one in Portuguese, as we're in Brazil. And then this automated machine will help you with in the first stance. And then depending on how it evolves in the conversation, it will connect you to a doctor or a nurse that will help you have direct care to really give you a better state of health, as I mentioned in the past. So what are the takeaways from the experience? And this is what I want to stress here as well. It was the opportunity to match this huge 100,000 employees, 160 years of existence company with a startup that had the right opportunity and tool and mindset and was at the right stage to help us solve a challenge. And they actually matched. So Bear and BioAPS were able to work together at this right state with a founder that was open for discussion with the executives from Bear, from that team. And also what the team felt is that this was real open innovation. It was not just like theater innovation, right? So there was opportunity to use agile methodologies and to pivot and to pilot, to have an MVP before moving forward with a particular tool that was so advanced that you couldn't even go back and make changes that you should have done. So it was really a very interesting matchmaking that happened between that particular team looking at healthcare and the company that was providing this solution. So this was probably one of the great success stories from the program, and hopefully it gave you an understanding of how a big company can interact with a startup in a way that's actually valuable. So here's my LinkedIn. If you guys would like to connect, I'll be happy to address any questions if you have it. I know we have a short time, but then I'm here for further discussions. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you very much, Gustavo. Yes, please. I think now we are complete, Heitor, right? Okay, so we are now complete with our speakers team. And so as I have announced, we will call now Dr. Thomas Bartoschek from the startup Redo. He's founder and CEO there. So I will be introducing him. So Thomas is a postdoctoral researcher at the Institute for Geoinformatics at the University of Münster and co-founder and CEO at the edtech startup Redo since 2018 and of a non-profit Open Sense Lab since 2021. So we know Thomas since many years. The first time that he came to Brazil was to present the device SenseBox that he developed with, hello Thomas, that he developed in the framework of a funding of BMBF, so the German Ministry for Education and Research. I have a SenseBox running at my home as well. So we have another one at the DWIH and so on. And this research work from Thomas and other colleagues was the start point for Redo. And he started as well here at AUSPIN. So, but I leave you talk, Thomas. I will not tell what you will present. Okay, Thomas, nice to see you again.
Great to see you too. Thanks a lot for the invitation. I hope you hear me well right now.
Yes, we can hear you. And can you hear me good here?
Yes, I can understand you totally. This is really a good quality of the sound, so I can hear you, and yeah, that's great. I'm really happy to be there. Thanks for the invitation. On the other hand, I'm not happy that I'm not with you in person, but on the just for the presentation, it would have been a large effort to come there, and I will speak about it in a few seconds. I am more or less on the way to Brazil. In August, I will be in Sao Paulo as well for another event I will speak about in my little short presentation. So maybe I can start and share my screen. Can share your screen? Okay. Allow that to Google Chrome. I'm so sorry that I couldn't test that before. Yeah, I'm very sorry. I need to leave the call for 1 second just because I need to restart the browser to allow it to share my screen. I'm sorry, we'll be back with you in a second.
Due that we don't have here the same technical structure as on Monday at the German Chamber, we will do 1 or 2 questions to Thomas directly after the presentation, okay? And then we go ahead with the presentation of Gabriel and Heitor. I don't know, it seems that it's working here with the microphone, but if he will not hear good, you need to come here to the stage and speak here to the notebook, okay?
Okay, I'm back. I'm so sorry. But now I hope it will allow me to share my screen. Otherwise, I will have a... Yeah, fine, great. Good. So sorry again. I've never shared the screen with a Google Meet meeting here, so I'm sure using other, but that's fine. So I want to speak about our startup Redo and a bit of our experience in Brazil. And as Marcio already mentioned, we are a spin-off from the University of Münster and home of the Sensebox, the major project that we are working on and we came from. And maybe as a short graph, this small evolution here coming from the Institute for Geoinformatics in Münster, which was founded already 30 years ago. And there, some kind of 15 years ago, I started a small lab called GI at School, Geoinformatics in School, where we started to develop and work on digital technologies for the use in schools, secondary schools, primary schools. And 10 years ago, more or less, the first ideas for Sensebox were born. Basically, 2015, we received the first national funding to continue to start a research project. And as part of the transfer from this project, we founded Redo in 2018, so 4 years ago now. In April, we had our anniversary, basically. And also, which is missing here, but was mentioned correctly, 1 year ago, we founded another non-profit startup called Open Sense Lab. I forgot to put it here on this graph here. But today, I'm going to speak about Redo because We were as Rido in Brazil already a few times. So our teams, as we are from geoinformatics, our team is a mix of people from geoinformatics, computer science, but also software developers, designers. But, and this is important if you work on education, we have teachers from different STEM subjects in our team, and also students, and also among students, not the ones from university, but we even have a high school student working for us as a developer, as a very, very junior developer, which is really great to have potential future users amongst our staff. Our skills, I mentioned that also in the short bio about Rido. So the claim we have is full stack digital education, meaning that we build technologies and design technologies as software, hardware, but also resources for learning, like open education resources. We also conduct workshops and hackathons or other events, educational events, and develop concepts for learning, consult educational institutions in their work, transformation towards digital learning. So the users of our product, and amongst them SenseBox is the largest, but we have plenty of other technologies developed in the last years. There are around more than 200,000 users of the product currently, and with our events especially, we reached 20,000 students directly and taught over 2,000 teachers in teacher trainings, with plenty of media coverage and things like that. So usually here I show plenty of technologies or examples of our technologies with SenseBox in the foreground. Due to the time frame now, I will focus on SenseBox as to just briefly explain you what it is. But Marcio already said a few words about that. So SenseBox is an educational technology that also is being used in citizen science. So it's a hardware in the first way. It's an hardware which is IoT ready, so it's connectable to the internet and available as a thing on the Internet of Things. It's a device, a measurement station for environmental monitoring. So users can make or build a smart device that is measuring different environmental phenomena, from temperature, humidity to light phenomena, but also air quality or other phenomena, and submit this data to the internet to share it with others, basically. So it's also a piece of empowerment that allows people really to build their own device, code it, and share their data on the environment. And as the data is shared as open data, it's also part of the data literacy concept, because in education, this data also is being used for different purposes. We have built a visual programming interface to build and create the programs that are running on the SenseBox. So everybody creates his or her own program based on the research question one has with the SenseBox. So if you want to measure air quality in your environment, the program might be different than if you want to count cars on the street in front of your house and share this data on the internet. The software and programming is as easy that lay people, but also kids in primary school are able to build. And to somehow close this triangle of hardware and the programming interface, we have a platform where the data goes to, which is the Open Sense Map, where currently around 10,000 devices are registered. Sorry for the focus on Europe, but it makes clear also how strong the German focus is due to the funding of the German Ministry of Education and Research currently. But as you see also, it's growing internationally, and a link to Sao Paulo is there, and there are a few boxes in Brazil as well. And so far, we're coming close to 11 billion measurements that has been collected and are available as open data to everyone. Clients of the SenseBox and of Rido in general are schools and universities, so educational institutions in general. You can also add the museums, libraries to it as well. Then we have some private customers, which are citizen scientists or people that use this educational toolkit at home. As you might know, educational toolkits for chemistry as well. I used one myself as a kid. This is the more modern, more recent IoT educational toolkit. but also cities and municipalities are involving their citizens in these questions of environmental science, and are our clients. Now coming to Brazil, so with our Sensebox and our startup Redo, we participated in Startups Connected as a competition in 2019, so it's already a few years back, 3 years ago, and we were lucky winners. So in 2019, we were the winner of the category, the German category, basically, the category Deutschland. And part of our prize basically was that a colleague of mine, Björn, who you can see on the bottom left, receiving basically the award, traveled to Brazil, not only for the award ceremony, but also to have a tour through Brazil, which was nicely curated by DWIH and the Außenhandelskammer to find potential partners and clients in Brazil. So the follow-ups of this great success for us, which makes me very proud, of course, are still ongoing after a COVID break. So of course, due to COVID, we had a lot of contacts to Brazil, but due to COVID, it was kind of tough to establish stronger connections with visits and so on. So we had some loose connections, and currently this year we already somehow are refining these connections and re-establishing contacts to the potential partners. And amongst them are some partners from the Sao Paulo area, which is on the one hand the state of Sao Paulo, and there the Ministry of Education basically, who Björn talked to and presented Sensebox as well as a potential tool for education in schools and universities. On the side of the schools, we are still in contact with the Humboldt schools in Sao Paulo, in the state of Sao Paulo, but also SESC as a partner, a potential partner in vocational education is a potential partner for us, and we met them back then in 2019 and still exchanged some mails after that. So you see here from school, high school education, through the universities, you see also the vocational education that is maybe covered here, and also as a potential university partner, University of Sao Paulo. But Björn also met another startup in the education technologies business, which is Navea Vela, who's supplying schools with technologies, maker spaces, where Sensebox fits to very well as well. And then Björn was traveling to the northeast as well, and met in the Federal Institute of Education in Maranhão, a representative, but also at UFMA, the Federal University of Maranhão. He met people who might be interested in Sensebox. And we are still in touch with the people, and as we are coming back in August, we hope to meet some others. The rest of the follow-ups is we have new staff since early this year. Kim joined us, who's Brazilian as well, coming from Sao Paulo with a bachelor degree in architecture and urban planning from USP, and he's amongst the Redo staff right now and will join us on our travel. He also represented us already once this year on the travel to Brazil. And the biggest thing happening, and this is why I am going to Sao Paulo as well in August with some stuff from Geoinformatics, the University of Münster, but also from Redo, is the German-Brazilian EdTech Hackathon we are currently preparing and will happen mid of August, 20th to 22nd in Sao Paulo. The website is an ongoing development in the next days, where you will find all information there. So for the people in Brazil currently, please keep that in mind. Visit the website in the next days. Look out for social media on our channels, but also on the channels of DWIH, where you will find more information in the next weeks probably. So thanks a lot for your attention, and I'm here to respond to your questions as well. Thanks.
Thomas, thank you very much. Are you hearing me well? Yes? Are you hearing me?
I'm here, yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay,
sorry, yeah.
thank you. So we will open for 1 or 2 questions And then we go ahead with the next speaker. Who has a question for Thomas about Redo, the experience coming to Brazil? Ivan? Yeah. Bem? Then we have two questions.
Hi, Thomas. Thank you for the talk. It's very interesting. And I have a kind of broad question for you. How is this interaction between like a German company doing business in Brazil? How do you see that? So do you see a lot of potential for you, for institutions here as well? So it's more like in the business direction, this question. So.
Yes, thanks a lot for the question. It's a good question, and of course, we asked ourselves this question before participating in Startups Connected, and also right now, like more strengthening this link to Brazil currently. I wouldn't do that if I wouldn't see potential, of course, for both sides, I believe. So I believe we have a technology which has an USP on an international level, and I believe that our product, especially the SenseBox, might be of high interest for educational institutions in Brazil, on the one hand. On the second hand, our technology, I couldn't mention that very deeply, but our technology is completely open source, which makes it possible also to basically copy or create copies or create production facilities in Brazil, which is also would be very interesting for us to cooperate on this issue, and then try to establish more context and more use of this product in education and research in Brazil.
The next one is from Rafael.
Hello, Thomas. Here's Rafael. My question is a bit of curiosity because I'm an entrepreneur too. So I like to listen to stories, and I want to ask you about why did you choose to become an entrepreneur and start a company?
Oh, that's a really great question. I really like it. So you know, I can say I'm nearly 42, so a very important number, as some of you might know. And half of my life I spent at the university, and I'm still, with part of my position, working at the University of Münster in the geoinformatics department. So basically studying and working as a research associate. And working there and developing new technologies, doing research on new education technologies, which I'm doing quite some time already, as you have seen. Yeah, it was always I loved it to develop new things, bringing this idea to life. But on the side of research, you know, usually the part of the application is somewhat cut off. You usually work until a prototype is there, you do your publication, and you go on with the next project probably. So this was a missing link for me, and I loved to see the things I work and I do research on in current use. And I love to see them having impact not only for the research side, which is also great, but having an impact on society. And I believe education, but also these topics like citizen science that we contribute to, have a huge impact on society. And this was more or less the way where I always looked up, I can't do the things I love to do completely in research in university, so I needed a way somehow to spin off, to create something, some new institution, and now I live in both worlds, yeah, more or less half-half, and let's see which side will win at some point, yeah, but currently I live in both worlds, which is also great.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you very much. We don't have, unfortunately, more time for more questions now. But I'm looking forward to see you in August here in São Paulo. Yes. Nice to have you here again. Thank you very much, Thomas.
Thanks a lot, Marcio. Looking forward for that too. And for all of you, have a great rest of the week. And please get in touch if you have any other questions or issues. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you. So the technical structure works better than we expected with the microphones. So our next speaker is Gabriel de Freitas Nunes. He is Managing Director from TNS Nano. He had a long trip. He comes from Florianópolis in South Brazil, arrived today directly to our Innovators Week. He is a materials engineering by the Federal University of Santa Catarina, with part of his studies at the TU Hamburg, yes, in Germany. And it's a long CV.
No worries.
Okay.
Thank you, Marcio.
You have more than one, you want more than one time the product connected?
Yes, twice.
Twice.
Both times with BASF. Good morning, everyone, again. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for the invitation, Fernando, as well. It's always great to be with you. We are on the dark side of the startups, let's say. We don't work with IT or hardware or things like that. We are a hard science company, works with nanotechnology, and since 4 or 5 years ago, biotech as well. And the biggest challenge is to do it and don't think like be a Brazilian focused company, because we are very huge. And then normally companies born here and think only Brazil, like we did in the beginning. And this is a little bit what we learned with BASF that I will share with all of you. Maybe, yeah. And then I choose a specific topic to talk today, food and agri-tech. Not just because we are Brazil, but thousands of people die daily due to the hunger and diseases. Thanks to the pandemic status, I don't need to take 1 hour to explain that microorganisms kill people. And TNS was the first company in America, March or April of 2020, to launch on the market antiviral solution to industries. And then our customers protect the products that will protect us against cross-contamination. And this is a little bit what I will show you here. Okay. And then when we met AHK for the first time, we wore this kind of TNS looking 100% only to Brazil, and looking for where we can apply our products, actually. We was born in 2009, but we went to the March 2013. We took quite a long time to establish our industrial production and guarantee to our customers the chemistry quality and the certification that they need to use our kind of products. And then after we had the first touch, we, let's say, upgrade our company to that TNS that I will explain, and this Revela spin-off that I will explain as well. Thanks to many conversations and also mentorship from the executives from BASF. Part of the focus of TNS, or the application of TNS, as I told you before, is to fight against the hunger and the people that dies daily about cross-contamination. And then we are very aligned globally with this theme. And what we do against microorganisms can be applied in several different kinds of industries. And we can see this kind of necessity to produce more or to waste less, just increasing from today to 2050. So the market is still growing, and you keep growing faster and faster because we need to feed people. After the pandemic starts, 2020, this year, Brazil and USA starts to grow once again the natality numbers. So the people in the world will keep growing and born and growing. This is the topic where we act with our additives in different kinds of industries. You can see polymers, paints, textile, foam, ceramics, and water. I can guarantee 100% of you use nanotechnology in your pocket today. Maybe you brush your teeth today morning with a toothbrush or dental floss from Colgate. Colgate in Brazil, Asia, and North of America use our biocides to protect the products against bacteria. Or, no one came from Oswaldo Cruz, but maybe you went to the dentist and the equipment from the dentist received the coatings from WEG. Maybe you know, all know about WEG, one of the biggest companies, Brazilian companies. And they have a specific product line to this area called No Back, and 100% of that benefits is provided by us. And then you go to sports, curtains, pillow sponges, toilet tiles, and water filtration. So it's a very wide. We are a company well recognized for many, many prizes. And water solution, for example, we also clean water. So there are many applications where BASF helped us to choose and to understand how can we achieve the right customers. It's not working well. Okay, and then TNS Go Global. Okay, the left one. Now it's working. And then today we export to all the continents and over 15 countries around the world with TNS. And talk about Revela is a little bit faster and smaller. We also develop hard science just to different way, not to industries, but to the agri sector. Now, our nanoparticles, for example, are industrial treatments, fertilizer, adjuvants, pest control, many of application, increasing the production of good food with bio-based products. And we do not sell to the farmers, we sell to the companies like you, and then provide the upgrade of their technology to the field. But I skipped the Revela test to go deeper on this topic because this topic, BASF, has helped us a lot. One of the biggest problems, besides virus, let's say, around the world is Salmonella. Probably all of you have heard about Kinder chocolates a couple of months ago, and yesterday peanuts, sweet things from USA, the same problem. This is a small thing, but when you go to the Brazil as a #1 soybeans meal exporter, we have a big challenge. Normally, companies takes 10 days to identify Salmonella. And we develop a nanobiosensor that do it in 12 hours. And the better thing is we don't need any IT or hardware or things like that. As I told you before, it's a nanobiosensor. We were very focused in animal protein, and we found thousands and thousands of walls, and we couldn't have volumes and success on the Brazilian industries. And then we started to talk with them. They helped us to follow up this kind of tests. And then we understand that soybeans is not blue ocean, but it's a paradise. And just to let you know, when you do it in 12 hours, the soybeans is still being loaded on the ship. When you take 10 days, the ship is already in Asia, for example, and they had a huge problem. And for example, last week in Rondonópolis, a company just wasted and burned 140 tons of soybeans. Just burned, because it was 100% Salmonella contaminated. And then they brought to us 5 samples, blind samples, and then we did these tests in front of the technicians, and in a couple of minutes, so it's up to 12 hours. Sometimes we can do it faster, according to the concentration. In a couple of minutes, the red color changes to blue color, and then we say, this sample has salmonella, this has not, this has and then oh my God, yeah. That's the opportunity, and we are very thankful to BASF team. They really opened the European and Brazilian market to us about this kind of solution. We are on the market. We can't open too much information or about the technology or numbers about the market, but we all need soybeans every day. Or we eat soybeans, or we eat animal protein that you eat soybeans. So Startup Connected helped us a lot in these two companies. Revela, since 1st January this year, is legally, formally, a spin-off from TNS with people 100% dedicated to this kind of operation. And that's all for today. Thank you so much. And feel free to ask me anything. Okay?
Thank you, Gabriel. So after the next presentation from Heitor, I will invite you to sit here and answer the questions. So the next speaker is Heitor Tosetto. He is the head of sales of Pix Force. He is graduated in mechanical engineering at the Federal University of Viçosa, and then has 2 post-graduations in finance and in industrial maintenance. And you comes from Rio Grande do Sul, from South Brazil?
I'm living in Sorocaba, near Figueiredo.
Okay. Okay, the company is in Rio Grande do Sul, but he's not so far away, only 100 kilometers here from São Paulo. And he built a career before the startup. You founded the startup, you built a career in a large national industry, creating business models, right? Yeah. Okay, welcome.
So good morning, everyone. I'm very glad with this invite to do the presentation. Fernando, thank you again. You are a great partner to us all the time. It's incredible what we can do with AHK. So today my speak will be very briefly. I will talk about our company, our technology. Then I will give you something different. I would like to share with you some challenge that we had during our journey as a company as Pix Force. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't do it. Okay, so work again. So what we do, we are. Visual inspection is everywhere, every day for everyone in your life. So every time that you think about someone looking for something, and evaluation, if there is a defect or something wrong, or you will say, okay, this is okay, oh, this is not okay. You using your eyes to do it. It's everywhere for industry, daily basis in your house, in the retail business, everywhere we do this kind of inspection. But of course, depending where and how you do it, it can be very dangerous, very slow, and very expensive. So we are working on this business, find ways to do visual inspections cheaper, faster, and more safety for everyone. Talking about the achievements that we reached in the last 5 years, Pix Force is the #1 Brazilian in computer vision and artificial intelligence for the last 4 years by the 100 Open ranking. We are very proud of that, especially because this ranking it is about how much business do you do with big companies. And of course, when you can provide value to big companies, you have something good for the market. So this is why we are so proud. And in the last year, we had 2 international awards. We are very proud of this because of the invitation of AHK. We went to Germany and won the first one in startup German tour. It's a worldwide competition. We are incredibly proud of that. Thank you. And last month, we won in the South Summit, the first really big startup event in Brazil as the most innovative startup in the event. This is the perfect time for computer vision because of two main lines. We have the deep learning technology, so if computer vision is not so new. Horacio, one of our senior developers, started to think about computer vision in the 90s, but it was impossible to do it, especially because of the hardware and the techniques of computer vision. For example, just to read the plate of a car was almost impossible, and nowadays it's commodity, so it's quite easy. So we have so much better sensors. We have, for example, nowadays we are working with a 360 camera, 8K. So the quality of this data is incredible. And of course, you have GPUs to process all these technicians. So this is the perfect time. Maybe 5 years ago, it was impossible to do everything we are doing right now. We are growing up very fast. Nowadays, we have more than 70 people in our company. Around 50 are developers. So we are really a deep tech company, and I will talk about more this in a couple of minutes. This is our guys. This is not the best picture. We need to update this very quickly and very frequently. We are all around Brazil. We don't have more a specific office. We are spread in almost all the states in Brazil. So now we would like to talk about the challenges of being a deep tech, and one of the things that we are trying to do to be successful in this market. So we have this line to develop our product. So we start with a POC, probably with a big company, a very small, very quickly, and very cheap process to evaluate, to understand if computer vision is the best solution for that problem. Sometimes it's not, sometimes it is. So after that, we do a pilot project. So one application for this technology in one industrial line or some safety issue. Then after that, we develop a product and go to MRR and SaaS development. So do this with a lot of initiatives is very difficult. And of course, I can say 80 or 7% of the whole POX dies in the first step. It's part of innovation. We are trying and doing mistakes and try again. Let's just talk about this product specifically. He did all the process. Is a way to inspect conveyor belts with a drone, AI, and to analyze the temperature of the rolls of the conveyor belt. We have this Pix counter. It's in the middle of that line. We are counting a lot of stuff for many applications and help them to control the warehouse. We have also a mobile version for Pix counter. And this is Pix quality when we find some defects in some production line. And this one is we are calling the Pix quality 2.0 because we are offshore and looking for rusty and offshore systems. So to go deeply inside the challenges should be a deep tech. The first one, of course, tech is quite expensive. So you need to find a way to find money to develop something and survive during that. So this is the biggest problem. Gabriel probably understands a lot of this also. So how to pay for the bills? We had the strategy to find clients to pay for our development. However, if you are doing something for some client, you are not doing this for the market. If you want to take this to the market, it will cost so much more money. For example, the drone technology for the drone, we developed it for a specific kind of conveyor belt. But the market needs to another types of conveyor belt. So we need to put more money after the project is finished to take this for the market. So we try to sell the same project several times. So if you have some problems with a conveyor belt, I sell to you a specific part of this, so I sell to the other one, another one. So I have a puzzle, I put everything together, and in the end we have a product with funding by clients. This is our strategy. So for venture capital, this is a very, very difficult one because we are not sexy for them. the customer acquisition cost is quite high. The LTV is not so good. To find a really good one, MRR, it takes a long time, so we are not so sexy for them. However, we can find one. We have one in Porto Alegre who trust us, so you need to go to find them. It's quite difficult and should be the one for you. Of course, government funding is the best way to do it. We have a specific team just to find this kind of funding, to apply to the programs and find money on that. So this is the best way. And of course, we need to build the reputation of the best. Here in Brazil, about computer vision, Pix Force is all in the conversation. We are building this reputation for the last 5 years, and nowadays we have not so big problems to find clients and find talents, because now we are a reference, and it's helped a lot. But in the beginning, it was quite difficult. We are just crazy people try to sell something that was not tangible. And just to, I think this is the biggest tip that I can give to everyone who will start a new startup is take care of the long term and the short term. Of course, we have a lot of things that we want to go through. We want to achieve. Pix Force has a lot of dreams, but you need to pay the bills every month. So sometimes you go into a project that you know is not okay, is not really aligned with what I want, but I need to pay the bills. So don't feel sad or bad about yourself because of that. It's part of the game. That you need to find the balance between these two strategies. So this is what I have to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Heitor. So then we will start with the question and answer session. I want to invite Gustavo, Priscila. Yes, and the fourth was Thomas. I'm missing. Gabriel. Sorry, Gabriel. I knew we have 4 invited. So please. Yes. If you want order, you have. So we can start here with questions. I think we have 4 good examples of this work in the framework of Startups Connected to 2 representatives from big companies. TNS is going to be a big company. So Gabriel and Heitor, but it seems it's in a good way. It's not about the size, it's about the size. Yeah. So who wants to ask first?
Thank you again. My question is for Pix Force, because I really love the deep learning, and my master's is in deep learning, and I still work with deep learning vision, the vision thing. And just a small question, when you use the deep learning, are you using the convolutional neural networks?
It's working? Okay, sorry. I'm the head of sales. So this is the first part. But we have in Pix Force, we have a lot of PhDs, a lot of maybe 4 or 5 PhDs in computer vision. So we don't have the silver bullet for every problem. The first part of a new challenge for a new project is to understand which is the better strategy to solve this problem. So sometimes we solve it just with traditional computer vision, not with deep learning, sometimes with machine learning. So this is the main challenge to find the balance between science and business. You need to go to the faster and the cheapest way. Sometimes, of course, we love to do the complex stuff and use high-tech stuff, but you need to be very careful to use the faster way to solve the problem and the cheapest way to solve the problem. So I don't have the answer for you, but the main gist is there is no silver bullet for anything. We do go step by step. And as a business, it's not always the best way to do it because you will spend some time to do it. So if you have a focus in just one project or one product, it's easier to solve, but we are kind of a deep tech, so we like to do it.
Yeah, and next question is for the same guy. The next question for the same guy is that I saw that your presentation you focused a lot on Brazil. And what do you think about abroad? Do you have some expectations?
Yes, we have. 2 weeks ago, I was in Germany because of AHK and visited some clients in Luxembourg also. And there is some projects that can go worldwide. For example, the conveyor belt inspection. We are going to Canada in the second semester to start new prospections there. But as Gabriel told you, for Brazilian companies, we are kind of an island. I don't know why we think that Brazil is enough. Is a new mindset to go abroad for Brazilian companies. But we go. Probably this year or next year we will be abroad.
Next question. No? Video?
My question is for Heitor as well. Are you participating on Startups Connected as well or not?
Yes, twice.
Yeah.
In the first year was 2019 with Voigt. Was the first experience. It was so much better than the last one because we are everyone in the same place. It was very nice. I had this experience by myself. I was there every meeting. And the last year we are running a project with Siemens right now with some the name in English, but to inspect some solar panels in Brazil. So we are twice.
Oh, so you were the startups, not the established companies yet?
Yes, I'm startup.
Oh, I see. It's just like as Rafael was saying that my undergrad research, we work with convolutionary neural network. I don't do the computer part. I do more the agriculture part. But we use computer vision to determine hydric stress. So it was quite interesting. So I was like, maybe we could partner or something like this. So, yeah, thank you.
Okay, we talk about it.
Next one. You may be hungry, but we will not go for lunch now. We have our activity before. No? Can I ask a question? Yes. Sure. To the public, to the audience?
Actually, to these guys, but don't be offended. It's just that I'm interested in knowing. As I said, I am. Is this working? Okay. So I wanted to ask you, what do you guys think are the main challenges at this interaction and intersection of a big company and a startup?
So that's a very important thing. And that's why in our model, we involved both the Innovation Center and the business unit, because we do not want to treat the startup as any other supplier, because we may kill them. We are a very big operation, so we don't want that. We provide support. So remember when I said how that we had 4 laboratories? So with these laboratories, we help the startups and the business owners to work together. We have the Creativity Lab who work with methodology, project management. We have a Data Lab who helps with integration and develop some tools sometimes, because sometimes we need customizations, and if we ask all the customizations for the startup, we are killing their business. So we do our part. And as a hospital, we cannot leave these to our IT team, because they have many other things in their pipeline. So they are worried about the full operation that they run over there. So we are like an ambassador, dual hands organization. So for the support, we have one area, and for innovation, we have another. We work together, but we have this approach in order to help. That was our way. Other challenge that's very complicated, it's we do not take the decisions for the business owners, because sometimes many companies approach us to sell innovations. I do not incorporate, I do not decide about the innovation. I help them to understand if that is a solution for a problem. So is there a solution problem fit? Are these startups that are approaching us, or any other big companies approaching us with technologies and innovations, really able to provide what they are selling? Because people used to sell things that it's kind of magic, and then in the way we discover that it's not working and it's not feasible. So these is the two main challenges that I would like to mention here. Not killing the startup, and not just being very enthusiastic about the innovations, and not looking for problems that these things are really, if we have the problems that they are willing to solve. All right, so that's the two key points. The other things is resources, so money, but that's common to everybody else. That's not new.
The biggest one, I think, is match on timing. Our time is completely different from your time. And we know that, as Priscila said, they not decide alone. That there is a huge corporation behind them to make the things go forward. But sometimes, many times actually, we have a solution problem. The deal is very feasible, though the financial side and the regulation side. And okay, our next innovation meeting will happen next August. We are in May. And then we have bills. We have bills. This is one huge problem that we see. Maybe the second one, it's not for all companies, but AHK helps it a lot. Some prototypes or proof of concepts. In my point of view, does not make sense. The startups finance this kind of opportunity to a big tech, or a big company. There are some opportunities that we can really solve a huge problem from companies that cost, for example, euro, 5,000 euros. That for us is a lot of money, but maybe for a company like Bayer, it's beer money. Huh? But yeah, and then we really would love to solve that problem, or to apply to that certification, for example. And not all of the companies are open to talk about that. Today is much better than 3 or 4 years ago, but these two things still happen.
To contribute with this discussion, of course, Priscila, the main problem and the bottom line is we don't see this kind of speech everywhere. So her speech is perfect, but it's quite difficult to find companies that are with innovation spread inside the company so wild, like she said. And of course, we can put in the bottom line is the mindset. And when I say the mindset, it comes from the CEO to top to down, because innovation manager cannot be asked for revenue for innovation, for example. You need to find different ways to find success in innovation, not about just the ROI or or financial innovations. Because if you start to ask for results, we are not trying to do this. You cannot make a mistake, because if you make a mistake, you go fire. So this kind of pressures is important. And if you see this in the top of the organization, when it reaches us, the startup, everything flows well. And of course, in our side, startups need to stop to sell dreamings. So you need to be more accurate about what your capabilities, where you can go and when you not can go. I see a lot of startups saying absurd stuffs. But I would like to say, startups, we use this license as an innovation to go through a company. But sometimes if you are trying to sell it for the business unity, but not through innovation, they are seeing you as a normal supplier. So you need to deliver like a normal supplier. The startup needs to read the environment also. So I think this, we have always the mindset on the both sides. I think the both sides are getting better. I'm on it, like you, for maybe 5-6 years on this environment. And 4 years ago was terrible to have a conversation about innovation. It was almost impossible. Nowadays, especially the hubs, the ecosystem is so much more developed. So it's easier nowadays to do this, but we need to improve a lot.
Oh wow! I was hoping that you were not going to ask me the question that I asked. I think these guys just shared a lot of what I'm getting from the experience. As I said, I'm almost 3 months in the position, and I was working in the scientific affairs area within regulatory sciences, so very, very different from what I'm doing today. But what I understand is that open innovation, so new ways of doing innovation, is very, very new. This is a baby that's understanding how it needs to crawl and walk and eat and talk. So the things that you're saying, so 4 years ago, so much different than now, it's exactly what happens to a child that's just learning to speak or to communicate. So I think that's part of the challenge, right? We don't know how to interface in a way that's the best possible, and we're working to do that. So what, for instance, Hospital Alemão Oswaldo Cruz is doing, I guess, is a great example. So and how big is your team today? 19 people. So I have 4 with me. So you see the difference. So as a huge company, we need to understand how to invest talent and efforts as a whole in doing this and permeating the culture and making sure that the business units, which are really responsible for what makes money, understand that this is a different area that's trying to establish relationships that are long-term, but also that will not generate revenue in the short term, because this is not our goal. This shouldn't be captured as something that we need to deliver.
So thank you very much. We need to finish this panel. Thank you very much for coming. You are invited for lunch as well. I don't know, Gisela, they should take part in the next, yes, in the next part. We have now an activity on speed dating. That was a proposal of the AUSPIN here from USP, and I hope you can participate as well. Heitor, how long can you stay with us?
Until 1 p.m. Oh, I have more 30 minutes.
No. PM? 1 p.m.?
Yeah.
Half hour. You have okay.
It's like about 40 to 45 minutes.
Okay, Gisela will lead now this part of the activity. I think you can take place in the audience. Gisela, it's your turn. So,
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Some of you know who I am. I'm Gisela from AUSPIN, and I'm going to help you guys to, so we can actually make this activity. It's going to be a speed dating. So I don't know if everyone here knows what speed dating is. If you don't, it's okay. You can say that you saw in the movie. It's okay. What? So yeah, I'm going to explain to you guys now. So speed dating is activity in which two groups that have, say, similar interests talk to each other. It's divided like in two lines of seats. So, for instance, now we're going to have mentors and we're going to have entrepreneurs, and they have a specific time frame to talk to each other. And the moment there's like this sound, alarm sound, you guys switch seats in order to talk to everyone. Unfortunately, we have a really good problem because we have lots of mentors and lots of entrepreneurs. So unfortunately, each of the entrepreneurs is going to talk to a couple of mentors at the same time, only once. Is that okay? Everybody understands what I'm saying? Okay. Now, so why speed dating? So it's okay. So I'm going to explain how it's going to work. You're going to have, say, two mentors here, two here, and two here. And everyone is going to talk once to a couple of mentors at the same time. We wish that you guys would talk to every mentor, but then we're going to need like the whole afternoon. So unfortunately, we don't have that time. But then again, so why we're doing this activity? Because it's really important for the entrepreneurs to learn how to explain your business in a really fast, say, time frame, And there's this really cool saying, which is like, okay, you need to know how to explain what you do for your grandmother or for a 2-year-old child, and they can really understand what you're doing. You guys know what I mean? So I'm going to give you an example. So Brazilians know what brigadeiro is, right? Yeah. And Germans or Americans or Japanese, they have no clue whatsoever. So I'm going to explain to them. So imagine a candy that looks like a truffle, is as soft as a marshmallow, and melts in your mouth like hot fudge. Now you guys know what it is, right? It's a really, really, really good candy, and I guess like you guys should go to a cafeteria or something like, even Starbucks, they sell brigadeiro, and you really should try it. So this, see, I took like less than 10 seconds to explain a product. And it's like, I know it's simple, and it's kind of a metaphor, but it's a really cool way for you to introduce yourself. So I'm Gisela, and I made this candy, and blah, 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 okay? So you have 10 seconds, and then you're going to have 2 minutes and 20 seconds to talk about your business and what you need, a favor, and like say, oh, I need help with strategy or marketing and stuff like that. Okay? So I have some, like my cheat sheet here. Okay, so I need all the mentors to come here, and I need help from you guys, like to, how do you say, all the entrepreneurs come over here. We're going to divide you guys in 3 groups. We have 6 mentors, right? Yeah. The Young Innovators, sorry about that. So I need you guys to come over here, please. And I asked all the mentors to come over here, please, as well. So you guys sit like here. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the speakers, thank you. Sorry about that. Okay. So there you go. Wait. No, it's okay. I mean, yeah, we need to say like have 1 chair here and 2 in the front of it. So the speakers, I have a really bad memory, so you guys need to help me. Okay, so we're gonna sit together. Yeah, you guys are gonna be seated. Okay, so, and then the entrepreneurs are gonna sit in front of you. We'll talk to you like for 2.5 minutes. And then there's like this ring, and then comes another entrepreneur and talk to you for another 2.5 minutes. They're supposed to say to pitch their product or anything, their service or something like that they're doing. And then they actually, like, they can ask for help. Say, oh, I need help with strategy or marketing, or what do you think I should do? You know what I mean? So basically kind of a really mentoring session, but a really, really fast one. Yes. Okay, so everybody understood? Okay. Huh? As a speaker and as a young innovator. Did everybody understand what I said? Yes? No? I can explain again. No, it doesn't need to be 10 seconds speech. It was just like kind of explanation how the activity should work. Okay? So, yes, each time only one person's gonna come and talk to the mentor, and then when the alarm sounds, you're gonna stand up, come here, and then another young innovator is coming over and talk to the mentor. Okay? It's okay. So there you go. We're gonna have you. Sorry. Actually, we're gonna. It would be great, but then like ideally we need to have, say, 5 and 5. Yeah, unfortunately, we wanted you guys to talk to everybody. We cannot have that. But then it's okay if you give your email to the young innovators. Like, yeah, there you go. So I hope that helps. Okay, so you're going to help you. And who else is coming over here? We need, like, see, either one mentor or 2 mentors. As long as, like, it's 3 together. Like, I need, like, a couple here, and a couple over there. Não, o Gustavo estão lá. E a Priscila? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ela precisou ir. 8, 13. Ok, so we have. Não, eu sei. Melhor aqui. Ok, so. Okay, 5. No, 3. Okay, so 3 entrepreneurs is gonna talk to you and you and you. So it's gonna be, say, like less than 10 minutes. Okay? So. Yeah. In a count of 3, 2, 1, go.
Focado em pessoas. Exato, focado em pessoas, focado em empresas, na mesma forma, só que em vez de pegar o som do falante, eu posso falar por causa Sério? Key to enable. Procurei. Key to enable. Started now. My startup is called And that's not that easy when you have difficult topics.
30 seconds. 10 seconds. Time's over, everybody. Guys, time's over. Thank you. Okay, so thanks everybody. Just one second. There you go. So I want to thank everybody. We wish like each one of you would talk to each one of the mentors, but we have a really short time frame, and then we kindly ask if you guys could please give your email to us so we can share with them. Then you could either continue or start a conversation. Okay? So now, thank everybody. Thank you so much, and congratulations to you.